Okay, before you start attacking me because of the title of this video, you gotta give me a chance, okay? You're gonna see what I'm talking about. By the way, if you don't know, you should know, my name is Brian Mucklin's channel, aka the Godfather of Funding. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. I hope y'all like my new background. Y'all see my little Kevin Samuels thing back there? Okay, all right, that's what I'm talking about. But anyway, get back to this video. Okay, I know you see the title, crazy title. We need to be more like Diddy. What the heck are you talking about, B? But as I'm watching this trial, okay, maybe, I know it's just not me. I definitely know it's not just me because somebody made a video about this, okay? I was like, God damn, Diddy be doing a lot, you know, because as a self-employed individual myself, I struggle with getting as much stuff done as I need to get done. I'm always feeling like I'm behind. And then I'm watching this Diddy trial, I'm like, man, this guy had the time to do all of this? So watch this little short video. This guy definitely, we have the same sentiment. This is the same thing I was thinking about. So watch this quick short video.
The more I listen to the details from this Diddy case, the more I realize that I'm just not doing enough with my day. You know what I mean? Here he is running Bad Boy, running Ciroc, terrorizing women, greasing male escorts, fucking coming at least 19 times a day, releasing cologne, signing artists, goddamn finding time to do shit with French Montana, hanging out with Rick Ross, and still found time to come so many times a day. It really is. If it wasn't so sick, it'd be an inspiration. You need to do as much as Puff Daddy does with his day as you do with yours. That's today's message.
So anyway, that's today's message. Do as much in your day as Puff Daddy does with his. But just think about it, okay? Now, I have to preface this because I know all women are gonna start, you know, calling me Brian, what Diddy is being charged with is diabolical, it's disgusting. Him rubbing cum on himself it's nasty. But you gotta, you know, from the message today, stick to the message, okay? I stop judging me and let's stick to the message. This man was getting a lot accomplished. Diddy is one of the most accomplished music producers ever, okay? This is somebody that I looked up to. You know, do you know how many rap songs quote Diddy? It's insane. You know, you can go that. Diddy, you know, it was like a Puff Daddy, you know, Diddy is up there when it comes to people that are inspirational, for sure. You know, is he a good person? Absolutely not. After we're watching, you know, what he's done in this trial, absolutely not. But damn, that guy got a lot done. And to know that he was doing all of that, you know, while doing the free cards and doing this and that, there's a lot of lessons. This is gonna be one of those videos, by the way, that I'm just ranting. But hopefully you get the message that I'm trying to send here. By the way, if you don't know, Brian Mucklin's channel, Broker Solutions Academy. I train people how to become a business loan broker. There's going to be a link in the description. Wealthy Middleman, start a course, $37. If you're thinking about becoming a business loan broker, at a minimum, purchase that course so you can see what it's all about, understand the different products that are available. If you're looking for some funding, there's going to be a link in the description. Pantech Consulting Group, we lend pretty much, we do everything. I always say that there's 3 ways on how we can get you funded, either based on your credit, your income, or assets. We have programs for each one of these lending paths. Anyway, getting back to Diddy, okay, because we're gonna try to do a lot more in our day like Diddy does in his day. Let's talk about one of the things that I believe Diddy failed at. And it's one of the lessons that I learned from this book, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, is really being in control of his sexual energy, because clearly, based on what's going on here, he lost control of his sexual desires. And that's one of the highlights that I want to make, is another man being brought down because he cannot, you know, he didn't have dick discipline. Okay, let's just call it what it is. You know, we saw this with, you know, Bill Clinton. If you want to talk about some of the major men, we've seen this with Bill Cosby. You know, we've seen this with so many big, great ones. What's that executive producer that is in jail right now that did all the movies? These were very successful men that learned sexual transmutation, for sure, because I don't believe you can get that wealthy, that successful, Weinstein or whatever the name is. You know, I don't believe you can get that successful without not mastering your sexual energy. But I think that there's other areas when it comes to this, to mastering their sexual energy, that they lost control over. If you have not read this book, Napoleon Hill, dope book. You gotta read this. I would actually advise you to listen to the audiobook. The concept of the book is Napoleon Hill is actually having an interview with the devil. Okay, shout out to this book. Very powerful freaking book. This book was written like in the 1940s, but it wasn't released until like 2011 because of how powerful the message was. The family was really scared. These are facts. You can read them down if you go to the encyclopedia if you think that I'm lying to you. But there's a section on here that the devil talks about how he takes down men, successful men. And sometimes one of the tools that he uses is sex. And he can also use money to take you down. It's like he was talking to Diddy. You know, because you think about sometimes, why do evil men like Diddy become so successful? Sometimes it's a trap that the devil uses them to get and build them with success and wealth so they can give it to, you know, sometimes the honorable people, you know, whatever you want to call it. You know, but the devil definitely used Diddy. And he got into success, but Diddy did not control and misuse his sexual energy. Some of the quotes from the book, and actually from Napoleon Hill himself, misuse of sexual energy. The devil claims that sexual desires is one of the most powerful forces in human nature. He says, if left untreated or misused, it leads people into destructive behavior, lust, obsession, and distraction of meaningful goals. If left undirected or misused, keep in mind, you can't really destroy sexual energy. You can't destroy energy. Energy is transformed and transferred. We learned that in physics, you know, back in high school. But you have to learn how to direct your sexual energy. And if not, it leads to distracted behavior, lust, obsessions, and distraction from meaningful goal. You cannot say that Diddy's lack of control of his sexual energy did not lead to him having lust, obsession, and destructive behavior. You know, it leads people to start drifting. The central concept of the book meaning the lack of purpose and direction. When you're doing things that lack purpose and direction. Definitely something that Diddy should have paid attention to. The devil says by promoting distorted views, sex is a tool of drifting. The devil says that by promoting distorted views of sex through media, culture, and temptation, he keeps people focused on short-term pleasure rather than long-term purpose, okay? I have been a victim of this as well. And you can see, you know, maybe Diddy's experiences as a child or what he had gone through, you know, created these very nasty, distorted views as it pertains to sex. Because sex in itself is supposed to be something beautiful. It brings a woman and a man together, you know, or a man and a man, whatever rocks your boat. But it's a way to connect. It's a way to reproduce. It's a way to make sure our society lives on. You know, there's different ways that you can utilize sex. And if it's not used in that form, as far as just two bodies meeting together, that energy can be transmuted into building a business, which Diddy did. There's no way you can make as good music as Diddy was without transmuting that sexual energy. And clearly he had a lot of it to be able to come in 19 times and still be able to make music. And we're not gonna get nasty. Kids, I know the kids might be watching. So, anyway, moving on. The devil asserts that uses of sexual desires and the devil asserts that he uses sexual desires to cloud judgment. Come on now. Diddy's judgment was clouded. This guy, and not just sex. The devil hit him with that one too. He gave him a ton of money that made his head so big. You know, there's that video that you see out there where Diddy said, "I can't have anything." You know, I'm whatever, just yelling. I'm gonna try to see if I can find the clip of that video.
Whenever I want, I get whatever I want, I fucking get.
Very powerful quote that I heard when I was listening to some of my meditation this morning is, you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are the awareness behind them. Practice mindfulness. Okay, just powerful. And if you really think about it as it pertains to this, you know, your distorted thoughts, Diddy, let me go ahead and talk to Diddy. If you would have separated yourself from your thoughts, your sexual desires, you know, and really control those urges, he wouldn't be where he's at right now. The man had everything. You know, one of the difficult things that I battle with is my emotions tend to dictate my day. You know, I always say this, and I'm gonna stop saying this because I tend to live by what I say. If you've heard me say before, your emotions reflect on your actions, but they shouldn't. I've said that before, and I believe, because that's how I walk my life, is my emotions reflect on my actions. But listen to this. This is something that I'm going to be instilling in my habits. I am not my thoughts. I am not my emotions. I'm the awareness behind them. So I need to practice mindfulness. I need to see my emotions Like, they are not in me, they're out there. And I need to select if I want that emotions to really reflect on my actions or not. Sometimes I have a bad day or an argument, with a client or, with my significant other or with my kids, and it's in the morning and it ruins my morning or it ruins my day. That's ridiculous. For me to suck myself into that feeling instead of separating myself from it. And then, come on now. We argue, we have disagreements, and we move on with life. Especially with the people that are dear to you. So really powerful thing that I think Diddy would have been able to learn from that quote. And then also, stop taking things so personally. Everyone's action is a reflection of their own inner world, not the reflection of you. A really powerful thought that leads into that, me not separating myself from my emotions, is understanding about how I need to stop taking things so personal when it comes to people. And this is just some of the things that I'm reflecting on, some of the different things that have led me not to be as successful as I want, as productive, not just as successful, because, success depends on, what measurement that you're trying to use. Not as productive as I wanted to be this year. We're halfway through the year. It's May, end of May, and maybe I'm not the only one just feels that time is flying faster than we wanted to be. I mean, we're halfway in. And some of the different goals that I had in mind this year, I'm not there yet because, I've lacked also discipline this year. And we're gonna dive into that real hard real quick, by the way, because there are certain habits that I had developed that led me to where I'm at, but we tend to let the foot off of the gas once we get started, and then we get onto this cruise control. And one of the different things that I've learned as it pertains to just being successful is once that thing starts rolling, you don't let your foot off the gas. You need to go ahead and keep going. Especially when you're running your own business, it's like being stuck. Think about your four-wheel drive being stuck in like a dip or something, and you're rocking back and forth to get that thing out, okay? And if you finally get it out, what the fuck are you supposed to do? You're supposed to run that motherfucking thing and get the fuck off that ditch. But we have this thing, metaphorically speaking, you get a little bit of success and then you want to chill. But what does that do if you're on that ditch? Now you back in there again. And to start that back and forth requires, think about if the engine has died in that car. It requires the push and the energy from hopefully you're getting my point. I told you I was gonna ramble today, okay? I did give you guys a disclaimer. We're gonna be talking shit today. We're gonna be talking about Diddy and how you need to be more like Diddy. Don't be beating women up and doing all that nasty stuff that he was doing, rubbing and nipples. Don't do all that, but definitely get more in your day like Diddy did get done with his day. So, another thing that I wanted to talk about is, I always say about, let's go ahead and finish the conversation about discipline. And some of the three things that I have stopped doing that I'm gonna start implementing in my life, because I know it got me the wins that I did. It made me feel disciplined. It gave me the good dopamine hit that I needed to get. That is productive. Let me explain about dopamine, the good dopamine hit. What I mean by this, there's three habits that I had that I just left alone, and I've decided this week I'm gonna start maintaining these habits. One of the habits is waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know about you, the older you get, that stuff is getting hard. I've been waking up at 4 o'clock for a long time. Ever since I was like 21, 22 years old. That's just been a habit that I do, But the older I get, I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? I turned 36 this month, okay? It was my birthday, May 7th. And it's getting tough and tough. I was waking up at 4, I'll be at the gym at 4:35, but god dang, man, getting out the bed at 4 o'clock. I'm up at 4 o'clock, but getting out the bed is a different story, okay? But as I'm sitting here confessing to you right now, that's one of the disciplines that I'm gonna start to implement. It allowed me to get more done in my day like Diddy. Okay, so that's one of the things that I'm for sure gonna start implementing. Another thing is getting back to my task list. I have this thing where it tracks all the different things that I have to get done in a day. And I don't feel accomplished unless I complete the items that I need to complete in my day. I'm trying to see if I can show it to you here. But it's this app, and when I get done with a specific item that I told myself I was gonna get done that day, I check it off. And I've noticed when I'm maintaining my task list, I get more done. But I've just eased up on it because I've been behind. I've been getting distracted with the distractions. In a sense, helping new students come in, in essence, I've been too comfortable with not making sure I check everything off that task list. And my task list started going to be 1 week old, 1 week overdue, then 2 weeks overdue, and I'm just getting comfortable with it. And I'm gonna stop doing that and making sure that I manage my task list and continue checking off what I need to check off so I can get that daily dopamine hit, because that feeling of accomplishment is what leads me to wake up the next day with the energy that I need in order to get the stuff that I need to get done the following day. Just one thing that I didn't know how important it was until I stopped doing it. Another thing is tracking my time. There's just 3 simple things, and I would employ those 3 simple apps. There's a task list. You wake up in the morning, you just use your alarm, okay? Maintaining a task list, you need to have a task list. And my little ADHD mind, I don't know if I'm ADHD, I've never been diagnosed, but I think that there is a certain satisfaction that I get from checking things off by the end of the day, okay? This video that I'm doing right now, as soon as I get done with this video, I'm gonna check it off, okay? That I got that done. And doing that allows me to get more done in a day that I'm not getting done as much as I need to right now. That's one of the reasons why you haven't seen me as often on YouTube. I'm sorry, okay? I'm back, okay? I'm sorry. I made a promise I'm gonna be doing 2 videos a week. I've been really behind. I've been, one day I get behind and I knock out 3 or 4 videos in a day, and then I upload all of them at the same time. Anyway, discipline. Okay, about success and how we view success. There's this quote here: success is not about proving something to others, it's about proving something to thyself. Okay, when I was younger, I'm still young. Yeah, I'm 36. Some people say I'm still young, but I remember 20. I remember 21. Success was more so proving something to others. I remember some of the different cars that I bought that I couldn't even afford at the time, or they just wasn't really good financial decisions at the time. Was more focused on, man, wait till they see me in this. You guys know about that feeling. The older that I get, I have a car that I drive right now. I got a Lexus LX 570. It's like 2015, over 10 years old. Okay, it doesn't really bother me. It's comfortable. I'm good with it. I have a motorcycle. It's not a Harley or anything like that, but I'm good with it. It's like a $3,500, $5,000 motorcycle. I'm fine with it. I have a truck outside. But these are things that before, I used to be more focused on what people think about, the perception of success that I was selling to them. But once you start focusing on success, it's not about proving something to others, but proving something to thyself, and really, truly make decisions based on, or not directed by other people's perception of you, but simply based on what you plan to do, plan to accomplish in life. What you plan to leave a mark. When you start having kids, maybe they can be a great motivator for sure. And I can honestly say, there's a lot that I do for my kids. But I'm no longer doing things in order for me to build this fake facade to make others create this certain perception of who I am. One of the different things that I've stopped doing this year is even posting on Facebook and Instagram. There was a time that, I would post just to create and maintain this certain facade as to how my life was, because other people were posting, and social media has stopped from just being a place that you share your experiences, and now has changed into a place that you just boast about your experiences. When you're going through that specific experience, you don't even focus on really just soaking in the moment. You're focused on the pictures that you're gonna share and how many people are gonna see it and how many likes you're gonna get. It's a very nasty world that we live in right now. But anyway, it's enough ranting for today. I think you guys have had enough of me today. I think what I wanted to share is this Diddy case is crazy, ridiculous, diabolical, but there's a lot to learn from it. As that gentleman said, if it wasn't so nasty, it would be very inspirational, okay? And I will leave you with this. There's this video, this man's wife just died and he still showed up to work. A little bit too creative for me, but I wanna explain and go a little bit harder with this mindset that we have to build, especially as men, that we're here to build. We're here to do more, to leave a mark. One of my deepest fears, and I'll end with this, is to die not to be remembered. It's to die like a dog. And hopefully I can leave a mark in the lending industry with what I've accomplished, and I plan to do more with my day as Diddy does with his day. I'm gonna leave you with this video. Peace out. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Apologize for being late. My wife just died. All right, we've got a lot on the agenda today, so let's begin. Yes, Matthew?
Ted, I'm so sorry. I mean, your wife.
Yeah, well, as you might expect, the pain's unlike anything I've ever experienced before, but we've got a lot to do today, so let's keep moving, okay? Next question, Jim?
I ask what happened to Janie, I mean?
Jim, what happened was she died. It was a car accident. We can't just bring the entire nation to a halt because of it. So does anybody have a question for the president?
And is there anything I can do to help?
Cards or flowers can be sent to my office, thank you.
Do you need anyone to talk to or someone to help you with anything?
People, this subject is not on the agenda today. Believe me, there's nothing I'd like more than to drop down behind this podium and weep. But I can't do this. Why? Because I'm a grown man, I've got a job to do, and so do you. So I'm going to take one more question on the matter of my wife, and then we're moving on, okay? Wilson?
Have you told Bobby and Megan yet?
Well, the children were in the car with their mother at the time. They're at Georgetown University Hospital. Bobby's in a coma, and Megan lost her legs. Okay, next question.
Whatever I want, I get. Whatever I want, I fucking get.